welcome back to Recorder on the Wall, mateys. I'm Captain Jeremy.
Yar! I be first mate Matthias.
Yar, and I'm just the dog. No, wait, I'm Katie.
Welcome back, mateys, to the voyage of Castaways of the Flying Dutchman. Okay, I'm not going to do that voice the entire time. It's already, I can feel it in my throat. Like, if I do that for like 10 minutes straight, I won't be able to talk.
What are you talking about? I can be talking like this for hours. Although, for everyone's sanity, I will not try to talk like that for the whole episode. I'm pretty sure that would cause someone's ears to bleed. I don't think we need a lawsuit on our hands, even if we have somebody in the legal profession as a frequent collaborator.
I am not qualified. I'm not qualified to give legal advice. Not at all.
It's not responsible for any physical damage done to its listeners. There, now we're covered.
Yep.
So if you can figure out, today we are talking about not book one, but the first third of the second book in the Castaways of the Flying Dutchman series, book 2 of 3, which is The Angel's Command. And it's chapters 1 through 10 we'll be covering today.
Yes. This is a very rare experience for me because it is very rare that I don't remember anything about a Brian Jakes book. But this one, because book 3 ruined everything for me, I haven't read these a lot. I've only read each of them once before this podcast.
I remembered one, like, good amounts of one when we went into it, though I think I forgot how it ended. This one, so what I thought I remembered as the first part of the book, apparently, now looking at the quick Wikipedia summary that's in our notes, apparently what I remembered was the second part of the book. So
oh, yeah.
I don't remember anything from this section. Which is probably good, because it's like, okay, I get to experience it for the first time again. And speaking of forgetting things, we're probably going to have that happen when we hit the next Redwall book, Rackety Tam, because I don't remember anything about that book. I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember most of the things that happened in it.
Quick, Katie, start making obscure references to Rackety Tam that he won't get.
Drums!
I remember there was a squirrel with a Scottish accent and a claymore.
There were 2 of them, actually.
There were 2 of, yes, and the main villain is a Wolverine. That's about where my knowledge of it ends.
Yes.
Flags!
So I will, that'll be interesting. But we're not talking about Rackety Tam today. We're talking about the Angel's Command.
Indeed.
Matthias, what do you remember? What did you remember going into this book?
Surprisingly, I've mentioned how long it's been since I've read many of the books in the series, just because I needed to give myself time to forget a lot of the story beats, because it was ruining my ability to enjoy them. Just being able to look at one of the chapter arts and being like, oh yeah, this chapter, and instantly recalling everything that happens. So there have been many cases in the past several books where it's just like, I had completely forgotten about that, or, oh yeah, that sounds familiar, but that wasn't something that jumped immediately into my head. I had to, recall it like half a page before something actually happens. Less so with this one. There's a lot of stuff I didn't remember precise details on, but there was a lot of it that's like, oh yeah, this is coming back to me. Because out of the 3 Castaways books, this is the one I read the most. And I think I signed out the audiobook from the library like at least 3 times.
The audiobook is great.
It is fantastic. And what I think makes it so good is that normally, even with the Redwall books, the actors doing a really good job, I feel sometimes the accents can get a little muddled. Not so with this one. Even though I know they're being put on, it's like they don't sound nearly realistic enough, but they're realistic enough that I'm willing to suspend my disbelief more than I would for the Redwall books. Just like, it feels right. It feels like I want it to. So, I wish I had signed out the audiobook. I did not. I regret that.
Aw.
But at the same time, I can still hear a lot of the voices in my head. Wait, that didn't sound right.
The voices in your head are talking.
Yes, I may be schizophrenic, but at least I have each other.
I used to be insane, but we're okay now.
Indeed.
I'd say the other interesting thing of note, I had completely forgotten. This is not a standard Brian Jakes book where it's 3 parts, each titled a book. There's
Right.
only 2 parts, and it's about halfway through. So I don't know. That feels weird to me.
Yeah, it does feel different. Like, but different is good. Like, it helps break up as we've had all the other books have been basically the same. The 3-part structure, with varying lengths on each part. Like, obviously, I think Legend of Luke was the most egregious, where like the last part of the book was what, like 30 pages, if that.
Yeah.
Nothing. And before anyone thinks I'm bagging on Legend of Luke, I am not bagging on Legend of Luke. I'm just pointing it out as an extreme example of the third part of the book being extremely small.
Moss
I
flower
mean,
too, wasn't it?
Yes, the third part of Mossflower was pretty short too.
first part of Tagarung was like, what, 4 chapters?
This is
It's
true.
6,
Yes.
I think. But yeah,
6?
something
Yeah,
like
4. It was not a lot. You could count it on one hand, maybe a second finger.
It was a prologue, and that was pretty much it.
that. Yeah.
Especially because with Tagarung, like after book 1, we had that big time jump too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But with this one, what it feels like with this one, we are now. Do they outright say it, or is it implied that this takes place before the second half of the third section of the first book?
It's
I
explicitly pointed
Yeah.
out with the dates.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the the first part of book 1, when with the actual Dutchman, he's still alive, not been cursed with immortality, sailing the seas forever, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
That takes place in 1620. And here we see Ben starting out in Cartagena in 1628. It's 8 years later.
Okay.
So this is their first adventure. Well, maybe first-ish.
I
One-
we know that Ben stayed with Louise the Shepherd for at least a couple of years, and
Right.
then they made their way up South America. And I'm guessing it probably took them several years to get there. So
Hmm.
they're only just now arriving at the northern tip of South America.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I also like the fact that this part is not following the same formula as the final section in the first book, where final section of the first book was, "Hey, we've arrived at this town. We're here to help people and then move on." With this one, it feels like they're just on an adventure.
Yeah, just like let's see where this takes us type thing.
Yeah, like
Yep.
it shows that even though there's only 3 of these, like there's no formula, there's no exact formula set up for them, which is good because it keeps things interesting. We get to see different things each time.
Yeah, it doesn't feel uh, explicitly like this, like something out of Casablanca or Indiana Jones. It has this, very quote unquote exotic feel to it, but from not even each book to book, but sub books within each book, there's something different going on.
Yep.
And I don't know, that feels really good to me. It just, a lot of Brian's other works, it's very formulaic, where it's like, okay, I'm going to establish in 3-act structure. First act, here are the characters. Here's why they're important. 2, I'm going to put them into trouble. 3, we're going to resolve that trouble. Here, it's more like 2 self-contained stories in a single volume.
Yeah. And so for this one, because in the first book, we had, of course, the setup. We had the short little bit of Ben and Ned living with the sheep herder. And then the final section was what it was like 2 centuries later or something, and they help out that little town and then move on. With
Mhm.
Yeah.
this one, we find out that it's been a short time since they've been deemed immortal, and they have no money, they have no real place to be. They're just sort of wandering, and they stumble across a group of buccaneers in a tavern, or two groups of buccaneers at least, and one goodish, and one definitely in the bad category.
Yep.
Yes.
And Brian's description here of this marketplace, it feels, you can feel the hustle and bustle as you read it.
Hmm.
And it's just, it instantly sets the mood of where you're supposed to be. If you've consumed any kind of like pirate media or something that's out of like the Caribbean, but like 150, 200 years ago or more, this will feel instantly familiar.
And I like the fact that we've got this drastic change from Redwall also, where like in the previous book it was definitely different, but a lot of it was still like this small town. Like it could have taken place within Redwall Abbey, let's be honest. With this one, we don't get bustling cities and towns in the Redwall series. And it feels like Jakes is excited that he's writing something new and something fresh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And this tavern that we're taken into, it feels seedy, but somehow inviting at the same time. And he describes this beef being slow cooked over a fire, and I want some of this beef now.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
yeah. I just like as soon as I read that, I was like, that roasting beef sounds delicious. And then when they said how they serve it, where it's like the fresh cooked, fresh sliced beef with the juices on this warm, crusty bread, I was like, I want a beef dip sandwich right now.
Yeah, like roast beef au jus with maybe like a side of fries, like
Mhm.
really super oily fries, but I don't care because it tastes amazing.
Oh. Oh man, I'm glad I had a late lunch.
I was gonna say I'm glad I just ate dinner.
um, we also get plenty like good establishment with the characters. Like Ben is this friendly kid, and Ned is like the coolest dog ever. And I love the comment of Ben saying to Ned, "You're the nicest dog on earth," and Ned goes, "You're just saying that because it's true."
Yep.
That was so good. And so, yeah, they go inside and decide to. Well, they're both hungry, and apparently they have no access to money or carrying food with them or things like that because that'd be helpful for them.
Yep.
And they go inside and try to figure out how to make some food or make some money to get some food. And they see these two pirates are gambling, and we get the classic. Like I've got something hidden under the one of these three cups. You can totally find it and win a bunch of money. By the way, I'm hiding the thing that's under the cups, so you can never win.
Oh,
Yep.
3 card Monty.
Yeah, this is. I just I put this Captain Madrid reminds me of Snake from The Simpsons. Like,
I
test your
just
luck, dude.
I just thought it was kind of weird that they named him Madrid and he's from Spain. It's like, oh, I see what you did there.
And
I can't decide if that's problematic or not.
Yeah.
I think it's more just playing off of a stereotype than anything else and being
Yeah.
like, I'm writing for children. I'm going to make this easy for them to understand.
Could also be like his pirate captain name, where he's proud of where he comes from, and so since he's in a foreign land, that word will sound like exotic to other people.
Yep.
Yeah. Like the vermin name. This is my vermin name.
This is my vermin name. His real name is like Bob.
Yeah. My name is Charlie, but I'm calling myself Gray Patch. Deal with it.
Exactly. It's like in The Princess Bride, where he's the Dread Pirate Roberts, and he's like, nobody would care about the Dread Pirate Wesley.
Yes.
And so he has his crew, one of which is named Pepe. All
Yep.
right. Real threatening name there. The Dread Pirate Pepe. And we've got the other crew, the good crew, with Raphael Thuron, his steersman Anaconda, which that's an awesome name.
He
He's
is an awesome character.
he's
I like-
amazing. He's one of my favorite characters in these 3 books. It's just he's fantastic.
Yep, I really like Anaconda. And he's got his bossoon Pierre. Can you tell they're from France?
As if I get.
Now,
That's
do you
them
feel like
again.
Brian doesn't fit with that classic trope of Brits and the French don't get along? We mean our French captain here is obviously a hero between himself and the Spanish.
I
Or is
liked
it-
that he did that.
Yeah, or is it a case of Brits might not like the French, but they like the Spanish even less?
Right.
I have no idea. I'm just.
But I
putting that
mean,
out.
the British captain that we meet soon is not a very likable character. So there's
Oh,
that.
Gosh.
He's
Yeah,
not
well,
quite Scarab levels of bad, but he's still awful.
I've got my nickname for him that I will hammer into everybody by the end of this.
I just have to say the actor that plays Theron is Paul Braithwaite, and he also plays Rackety Tam. He played Major Perigord, Slagar, Gabool. He is just super talented. He's one of my favorites just because he puts so much emotion into everything.
He
You
does
had me at
all
Perigord.
of the really interesting characters in a really interesting way.
Right.
Cool. That's cool that they got some of the voice actor was that the only returning voice actor from the Redwall audiobooks,
No,
or did they get others?
all of them so far have been actors from the Redwall audiobooks. I think one coming up in part 2 is different, but I'm not sure because it's been a while. But
That's cool though.
yeah.
So yeah, so Thuron is getting swindled, and so Ben and Ned help him out a little bit, and I like how Thuron's like, all right, I understand what he's doing. First mate, Anaconda, giant dude. Can you stand next to the guy that's cheating me?
Yep.
Yeah.
And to add a little alliteration to this, particular portents proceed, predictably peeving off pirates. Pleasant.
Yep.
I'm impressed you said that so easily.
Well, I mean, I wrote it down in my notes. I'm just reading from a page.
Well, hey, it's still a tongue twister.
I mean, I did the Sister Cicely song, Twister,
did.
tongue twister, pretty well. So I would like to think I can defend my crown well enough.
And yeah, in my notes, because they describe Anaconda as this giant, just ripped guy, and I just wrote, also, that Anaconda sounds like he could throw a ship at someone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. So
I like him enough as a character. When I first read this book, I was, let's see, probably around 14. When was this published anyway? Let me double check the 2003. So yeah, I was either like 13 or 14. Really big into playing Roller Coaster Tycoon at the time. So I made a custom coaster, and I liked the stats well enough. It was like, this is a really good design. I want to use this again. So I dubbed it the Anaconda.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes.
So Thoron pulls a gun on Madrid, and before Madrid's crew can do anything, well, Anaconda and I think it was Ludon, his first mate, or one of his dudes, pull knives on Madrid, and so Thoron, Ben, Ned, and the entire crew leave with all of Madrid's money, and which is actually Thoron's money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're off to sea, and we get just a nice hefty dose of Jake's nautical knowledge, and that is one of my favorite parts of this book so far, is just all his descriptions of the ships, of how they work, how they get like the repairs done, how, like, whenever one of the ships gets attacked, like the description of the damage done to them. He does such a good job in this book with that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's not only due to the fact that he spent time on ships, I think he had a real passion for nautical everything. You know, the
Yeah.
sort of person that would watch documentaries on TV in his free time about ships because he likes ships that much.
Yep. Yeah, you can tell it's definitely a passion from him.
Yep.
And it's like stuff that he doesn't even go into these details in the Redwall books. Like that's probably a way of showing like that this series, like this little mini series that he's done, is meant for slightly older audiences.
Mm-hmm. And it's also, I think, more of a passion project thing where he can say, hey, most of the kids who would read Redwall probably not interested in this. So I'm going to make a series where I can explicitly talk about the stuff that I think is cool. I don't see anything wrong with that.
No. So in chapter 2, we immediately see Ben is still haunted by the voyage on the Dutchman because he's immediately thrown off kilter on this new ship, the La Petite Marie.
You sound Italian.
Elle petite.
Hey, welcome to La Petite Maria. We are going to serve you pizza and spaghetti.
But I don't know how to do a French accent.
La Petite Marie, I believe. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for all the French people I offended.
I have a feeling the pasta references for Italians was more offensive than our French accents. I mean, we really wanted to go with like the stereotypical Italian thing and just do like Mario impressions. Yahoo!
Gotta wait till book 3 for that. I think there's a whole Italian family in that.
Oh, so excellent.
Yep.
So we see Thuron is a good man. Like he admits that he's not perfect, that he has been a pirate, but it sounds like he's, had a change of heart and he's someone who accepts the good and the bad that he's done. He seems like an honorable man.
Yes, he is. We did miss one thing, and that is the exquisite, okay, we got the money, let's everyone back out slowly. Okay, run. Chase through the market, which it's brief, but it is wonderful. And I could not resist another piece of alliteration. Thuron's plot is to be rid of Madrid and get hit off the grid with the kid, if only he did.
Yes.
And so Ben tells his story, and you start to wonder, like, throughout the years, how many times he's told I was washed up from a shipwreck, and this goat farmer, well, not goat farmer, I guess, a goat
herder.
Goat herder. He grows goats in his backyard. He's a goat farmer. He's very bad at it.
Oh dear.
Huh?
I said, oh dear.
No, goat.
Oh, goats. Why did I
wonder...
laugh at that? It'll only encourage you. Anyway.
I wonder, like, how many times he's had to tell this story and how many different variations he'll put on it over time.
I don't think many at this point, because it's just been a few years. But I think at this point he did say that Ned was the shepherd's dog, and Ned was like, "Oh, hey, that was a nice touch." So it doesn't seem like this is the first time. But yeah.
But he obviously hasn't told it too many times because it's only been 8 years since he was made immortal. So
yeah,
he's still functionally, mentally on the inside, 21 or 22 years old-ish. No, 20 to 21 years. Why did I say 22? I'm looking at these numbers on the screen. Why can't I read? And so I also like the fact, as you said earlier, Jeremy, he's still dealing with his experience from the Flying Dutchman. And he's suffering from PTSD.
Yeah.
And he's obviously a bit skittish about being back on a ship. We see him, he's only been on deck maybe a page, and then he starts to get faint. And it's like, oh, we're still doing this. We're still dealing with this. He's
Oh
not
yeah.
back to, well, I say back. In book one, in Chapel Vale, he seems like completely in control of himself. This cool, can-do attitude.
Mhm.
He's not there yet. It's only been 8 years. He still has 250 years to go before we get back to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, and I use the word back loosely because that's back for us, forward for him.
Yeah.
And he still has some episodes in book one too. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is a thing that he'll probably always have with him in some capacity.
Yep.
Yep. We also get, Thrawn is already like friendly with him and says how he's his good luck charm now, and but then they do see that Rocco Madrid is chasing them now, and this did make me think of the ship chase in the Bellmaker,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in like a good way. Like this is something that a lot of the Bellmaker we could see was a lot of Jake's passion in seafaring and the boats and the ships and everything, and it's definitely a similar thing in this one.
Yeah, I'm just
And
glad that there were no cannons or like guns in Redwall because I don't know, that would have ruined some of the magic.
Yes.
It's like
yeah,
too modern.
yeah. Though I like it in this one too, because again,
Oh,
it
I do
gives us
too.
like a good contrast to how they handled it in the Redwall books.
Hmm.
And so Thuron comes up with a good plan to trick Madrid, and it shows that even though Ben and Ned kind of helped him out earlier by, getting him out of the "you're being swindled" moment, um, it shows that he knows what he's doing. Like he's a confident and smart and brave, and it shows why he's the captain.
Yeah.
Where his trick is like, okay, we're gonna shut out all the lights in the ship, and we're gonna hide in this rock formation. And Ned does come up with a nice little addendum to that, which is let's set a piece of wood on fire and leave it floating in the sea so they think that's us.
Yep. Clever doggy.
Yep.
Yep.
And this sea chase is already underway. I'm hooked, and it's not even chapter 3 yet. This is
Yeah.
some of Brian's best writing right here.
Yep.
I'm engaged and engrossed.
Agreed. Yeah, like I honestly, for a little bit, I was having trouble writing notes for this, and not because like this was bad or anything. I really enjoy this. It's because I was really enjoying it and didn't want to stop reading to write down some notes.
That lets you know the quality of the writing here, folks.
Yep.
It's that good.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying this book so far, and it's a very good like change of pace from the Redwall books in some ways. Like you can still tell this is from the same author, but he's like really getting to flex a little bit and do something different. And it feels exciting. Less exciting now, and less good, is we go to the next chapter where we're introduced to I've come Captain. What's his face? I forgot his actual name. I just know what I called him.
I don't remember
Um,
his full name, but his nickname is Red Jack Teal.
yes.
Captain Jonathan Ormsby Teal,
There you go.
referred to as Red Jack because he wears a red hunting jacket.
And he is played by Simon Smithies, who definitely puts on sort of a more arrogant hair voice for him. Because
Oh.
Simon Smithies usually plays all the hairs, and so he just kind of like picture a hare sort of like Scarum, who doesn't care about anybody, but a little more outwardly arrogant. I think Scarum was like trying to sort of put forward this veneer of charm, but this guy's just like, no, I don't care. I don't care if you like me or not. I am better than all of you.
Yep.
Red Jack Teal, more like Red Jerk Teal.
Right,
Uh,
exactly.
yep. And so we just get like a quick introduction to him where we find out that he's an English privateer where he's basically a licensed pirate.
Mhm.
He's got a license to steal.
Yep. So, but we then cut back to Ben and Ned on the Le Petite Marie, and they see a ghost ship.
Yep.
Zoinks! We better get out of here, Ned.
Roro. We then get it. So obviously Ben starts flipping out as he sees it. Ned starts freaking out and howling and barking. And the crew is like, stop the dog from barking or else the other ship is going to find us, which is a perfectly normal thing to say. Like, hey, we're trying to hide and the dog is barking. And they don't try to hurt Ned or anything, which is nice. They immediately go to Ben. And poor Ludon here, I actually feel bad for him in this moment. He just grabs Ben's arm like, hey, what's up? Like, you're in a, because Ben was like in this weird trance. Ned takes that the wrong way and attacks poor Ludon, and then Thuron yells at him and hits him. Like, I actually felt bad for him, and not in a later part, but right here, it's like, he didn't hurt Ben. He was just saying, like, hey, man, wake up for a second. Your dog is barking. Can you stop him?
I don't know. Ludon's looking pretty sus to me.
Yep, and Thoron takes Ben to his bunk, and Ben, when he finally snaps out of it, is like, does feel bad when Ned tells him, like, Thoron's told everyone to leave us alone, and he's like, no, this crew isn't bad. This isn't like the Dutchman where everyone's like a psychotic murderer. We only have a couple of psychotic murderers. We don't have any psychotic murderers on this ship. Is even later on, like when things start getting bad, there's no real full outward talk of mutiny or murder or anything.
Yeah, I do like, though, even when people do start talking about deserting, that Thuron still has two people that are loyal to him without question. And I do like that because we didn't see any of that in the Dutchman, really.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
mean, granted, Vanderdecken was a terrible captain, but
yeah, because Thuron's like he's an honest person. He's a good man, and later on, when those things starts happening, he even says he's aware of it because he's like, what good captain wouldn't? And he also understands, like, he's sympathetic to them. This isn't like the Sea Rat captains where it's like, oh, you're talking back to me, off with your head.
yeah.
Or what we see from the other two captains in this book. We finally get ourselves a nice, like a good pirate captain in this series, or in these books.
Yep.
And so
then we get an ominous prophecy poem. In
yep.
a Jakes novel? Never!
Yep. And it's beware the walking dead by night. Okay, so Ben should not watch an AMC. Banished by our Savior's sight. I'm just going to continue to read because apparently my joke fell flat. And when all faces turn away, leave the sea upon that day, but shun the gold, thou honest heart. Watch not a friend you loved depart.
I wasn't going to laugh at the joke because I wanted you to keep reading the poem.
Oh,
that's good. I'm not saying it wasn't a good joke. I'm saying Brian's writing is better than your joke.
Okay, that's fair. So, Ben then gets to be in his element on the ship, where he wakes up in the morning and starts helping out with the rigging, and like he pulls his weight, what little weight he has.
Yeah.
And we get a nice little short song here too, with just the crew of the Le Petite Marie singing. And you know what? I like this part.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But now back to the SS, whatever the heck it's called, the Devon Bell. Devon Bell?
Devon Bell.
The Devon Bell.
Yep. Or as after we get through this section, as I've nicknamed it, the SS Stick Up Its Butt.
Wow.
Yep. Red Jack Teal is the boss who thinks he's more important than he actually is, and will lecture you on how well you stock that shelf or scrub that floor. As the old saying goes, give him an inch, and he thinks he's a ruler.
Right. And he remembers no one's name. Like
No.
literally no one's name, which really annoys me. I know it's supposed to, but it really does.
You, guy, and you, it's
Yeah.
like, it
Hey,
was like Mr.
Thingamy.
Burns was like, you, hat person. Yeah, it's, we find out he's a real prissy one, and the crewmen see a ship and burst in like, we have important news, and he's like, no, 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 you will leave and tap lightly on the door and deliver this properly. And then when they actually do give him the news, he goes, why didn't you tell me this before? Gee, I wonder.
Yes.
Maybe if you weren't so consumed with yourself and your delusions of being a naval captain instead of being a privateer, two entirely different things.
Oh, yeah. He's
One
so full of
being,
himself, there's two of him.
yes, one of those is sanctioned by the crown, actually given the crown's money, and stocked by people who spend their whole lives doing actual proper training. And one of them is a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to give you a letter that says you can steal from anybody who's not one of us.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a legal pirate. That's all
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He basically is someone who was like, we don't know what to do with this guy. He's kind of a loser. I don't know. Let's make him think he's important by giving him this job.
Pretty
You're
much.
Yeah, you're now the manager of the poop deck. I don't know.
The vice admiral of occasional acquisitions and unintentional. I don't know. I'm having difficulty coming up with some nonsense name for him.
Yep. And then, God. So then we go to our other bad captain, where Rocco Madrid is not happy because they've been following a floating piece of wreckage instead of an actual ship. And I like how he's like, decoy, very clever. And he's just trying to save face.
Yeah.
And then I like it too where he says to them, he goes, this spar tells me two things. One, the Marie is not headed for Jamaica and Port Royal. Two, they were sending us the wrong way. So what does this tell you, amigos? They'll just sort of stare at him. And he goes, donkeys! You would not have the brains among you to make a capitano. I love that too. Where at the end of the chapter, where they're like, "Do you want to question?" It's like, unless you want to tell him you know better. He goes, "I have no desire to be a dead man. The capitano knows best. This donkey will obey his orders without question."
Yep.
You know, maybe this book, instead of being named La Petite Marie, should have been called Three Captains and an Immortal Boy.
Is that the pirate sequel to Three Men and a Baby?
I was thinking about that too. But I just...
And so Madrid, or no, it's not Madrid that finds them. It's it's just my Captain Prissy Dingus finds them. It's my nickname for Red Jacket because he doesn't deserve a cool name. Captain Prissy Dingus. And he finds the Petite Marie and fires upon them. And like I said earlier, it's something we never got in Redwall. And so the description of it is so cool. Like where the first thing, like he says, the first thing Ben heard was a distant boom. And then there's this, it says, this tremendous splash in the water about 50 yards astern. Like you can immediately just picture it. And it's so well done. And like the description of when the second cannon fires, this time Ben heard the iron ball cleave the air with a whistling noise. Like, oh, just all the descriptions in this section of the book are so good.
I was thinking of the game Battleship for some reason.
E3.
Yeah.
Miss.
We had this talking battleship, and it would make the little sound effects, and Yeah, it reminded me of that. Like it's like, it's like
Oh,
Pretty much.
I have
yep.
not I've not played Battleship in so long. The last time I played Battleship was kind of the last time I could because dude, a friend of mine and I were playing it, and we eventually kind of got tired of just like playing Battleship. So at one point, she and I just started throwing the little pieces at each other. And we lost so many of the little tabs in the process that
Whoops.
even like years late, like a year or two later, my mom and I were like cleaning the living room, and I found one like behind one of the blinds.
Nice.
And randomly, my mom was like, "You remember when the two of you threw that stuff at each other?" And I was like, "Yeah."
It's like, oh, so that's where that blue Lego went.
Yeah.
And Captain Theron is really a little bit more confident than he ought to be. It's more like bravado than anything else, and it does come off a trifle cliche, but he's so incredibly charismatic, it really works.
Right.
Yep. And it's also, I think part of it is him putting on that confident exterior for the crew. Like, oh, this is nothing. I know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And though I do like the moment of like, we just have to avoid that chain shot. Chain shot hits the ship. Okay, then.
Yep.
Plan B.
And I find it interesting that Red Jack's ship is already firing on Theron, and Red Jack himself isn't even on deck. It's like, dude is a terrible captain.
Yes.
And I think, okay, can any of Brian's other pirate captains be considered worse than Red Jack? Or is he like the Scarum of ship captains?
Slip was pretty bad. I mean, this was a guy that lost his ship.
Yep.
Like
I would
Slip.
almost consider Gabul, but we never see him at sea. We only see him on the island, so I don't think he really counts.
This is true. And we get the idea that Gabul was a good captain, like a competent leader, before he went completely cuckoo, cuckoo.
Mhm.
What about Chop Snout? He was pretty bad.
Yeah, Chop Snout was pretty bad.
Although he did have like when his pirate, what do you call it? His crew. My goodness, I lost the word crew. Anyway, when his crew was talking about like, let's attack these people, and he's like, this is a bad plan. I'm going to tell you why it's a bad plan. So I guess he had some strategy. So maybe he's not as bad as Red Jack.
Yeah, but also his crew didn't respect him in any way, shape, or form, and like outright insulted him to his face, and he did nothing about it.
Yeah, and he
Yep.
did throw a big old tantrum. That's
Yeah,
true.
and he's like, "Fine, I'm not gonna be your captain anymore." Captain, can you help with this? Oh, now you want my help? Yeah.
Yes.
More like a cartoon character than a captain.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. So, Prissy McDingus is, yeah, he does come out and he's like, fire a warning shot across their nose. Boom! I said across their nose, not up it. Yep, and so, but Theron does mention that, like, the chain shot, he's like, huh, this is kind of nice. Think I'll keep it. I bet I could find something useful for it.
Yeah.
And the captain, I love the part where Captain Prissy keeps like shouting, like, tell me what the status is. And like one guy shouts it, and then like his first mate shouts it back to him. And this is like the equivalent of Star Trek where the character repeats what the computer says. It's like in Galaxy Quest where she's like, look, I have one job on the ship. It's stupid, but I'm going to do it. And God. So I do like the moment too where Thrawn's like, okay, like they do get hit. And we get a nice little touch of Pierre gets injured and Thrawn takes the time to bandage his arm with his own outfit.
Mhm.
Yep.
And it shows that he cares about his crew. He honestly does. And we see why Pierre and Anaconda are so loyal to him. Like, he
Yeah.
does care about him, and they care about him. He cares about them, and they care about him. I can't talk today.
Well, that's okay. I forgot the word
I-
crew, which appears a million times in this book. So,
Yep, there's something infecting all three of us today, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's causing us to not be able to talk properly.
Yeah. and Pete is just so quiet today, too.
Yeah.
We left him on the jolly boat.
Oops.
Row, row, row your jolly boat. Audio stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Reading this book is such a dream.
And so Theron says, like, we have a secret weapon, though. I have a sniper rifle.
Well, it's actually a cannon, but it's a cannon that's like a sniper rifle.
Sniper cannon.
Little Gerta.
Huh?
Little Gerta.
Yep.
Yes.
And I like this too, where he goes, well, we can't fit a regular cannonball in it. We'll need something else. And Ben goes, you mean the chain shot? He goes, exactly. And I love when they're packing it in, like getting ready to shoot the thing. And Captain Prissy is like, oh, they're too far out of range. They're not gonna. What happened to my foremast?
Yeah.
Looks like Red Jack got a taste of his own medicine. Kind of like
Right.
serving Sister Cicely her own nettle broth.
What I thought was so sad, though, is his cook was killed by this, right?
Yep.
Okay, everything's running together. But, like, he really liked what the cook made for him, but he couldn't remember his name. He didn't even know who he was, and he wasn't sad about it. It just made me so sad. It's like, please respect your service industry workers, please.
Yep.
Yeah. Which we then get we then get note that on the La Petite Marie, even though they got away, the damage done to the ship wrecked their food supply, and
Mhm.
all they have is water and some flour.
Right.
One of the cannon shots from the Devon Bell hit their galley and also killed their cook on Le Petite Marie, along with ruining most everything except a little bit of flour and some water.
Yep. Whoops.
And at least Ben wasn't in the galley this time,
Yeah.
not like last book.
Yep. In the next chapter, we then find out this is like the dumbest moment in the book, I think. So Captain Prissy beats his crew and then beats his crew again because he says that they have a sullen demeanor. Gee, I wonder why they have a sullen demeanor.
Yeah.
The very first sentence in the chapter is, Captain Red Jack Teal was not a happy man. And it's like, okay, that makes me quite happy because I don't want him happy. Ever.
Right.
Yep. And he's kind of an idiot.
Yes, he is definitely an idiot. I have that in my notes. Red Jack is an idiot.
And so they do he does check out like the new repaired foremast, and we get a good moment of him just not knowing what the heck he's talking about, which is Teal, assuming the new mast was wood they had picked up along the South American coast, smiled briefly at the grizzled workman. Good man. Though I wager you'd be using stout English timber, trunk of ash from back home, eh? Knowing what to do, the carpenter nodded cheerily. Aye, sir. When he left, he's like, how do you become captain without realizing that is what I used, you dumbass?
It's like, you'd rather be using some good old English ash, right? Yes, sir, I would. That is English ash.
I think the crew wants to kick Teal in his English ash.
Wah.
So we then get a comment which I have to admit was like kind of funny, where it says berating a crew was tiring work.
Yes.
That was legitimately funny. So they then have like a little moment of silence for the cook that died. And then we get a song, which was really touching until the very last line, which is, tip him overboard, mates. He's dead.
Yeah.
The eulogy. Let's hope Father Neptune has saved him a fine fortune, and all the pretty mermaids will sing a sweet and slow tune. For here goes some mother's son, now all the prayers are said, with body stones round both heels. Tip him over, mates, he's dead.
Yep.
Morbid song, that.
A little bit.
Yep. And then we get Captain Prissy like, put on all sail, Mr. Mate. Okay.
Okay, grieving time's over. Back to work.
Yep. And this is where he finds out where he's like, who was that fellow we put down? That was Percival, Captain. Percival who? Mouncy, your cook, sir. Oh. Rather inconvenient. Wow, dude. Don't get too broken up over it.
Yeah.
We then get moment where basically they're now having to ration out the water on the Le Petite Marie because, their stuff was destroyed, and Ben gets water for him and Ned, and the crew, or a couple members of the crew, are like, they don't see Ned as important as the rest of them, which, I mean, Ben and Ned are newcomers, but mean, but Thoron's like, dog gets water, same as any man aboard. And this is the point where Ludon and his crew are not too happy because to get Thoron being kind of a jerk here, where Grest, who's been serving the water, like makes a comment about it, like is all pissy, and so Thoron's like, "Hand me that ladle, friend," and then he bends the ladle around Grest's neck.
Yes.
It's pretty great.
That was a little much, but all right, that was pretty good.
and then they're quietly complaining about it afterwards. Ben overhears via Ned, relays it to the captain, and the captain's like, "Oh yeah, I know," proving that he's 10 times the Captain Redjack is, because he already knows what his crew is planning to do without needing to hear it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
He's actually in tune with his crew, rather than just being, "Do what I tell you." Also, Ludon's looking pretty sus.
Oh. You could say he's a salty pirate.
Yes.
Oh dear.
But it's a good change from Ben's experience aboard the Dutchman too, where in that book, when the crew got angry, they tried murdering the captain, which, granted, let's face it, Vanderdecken kind of deserved that. But here, the crew's getting angry, but it's more, we just want to leave. There's no talk of mutiny or attempts on the captain's life.
Yep.
And I do like when Ben tells Thoron, Thoron's like, I'll go and find Ned. Hope he hasn't signed up with the deserters. Shame on you for thinking such a thing, Captain. There's none more faithful than mine, Ned.
Aw.
That was cute. And then they do spot land, and we get a song from Anaconda, which was good. And I like how Ned is kind of like howling along with it. And he said, and when Ben's like, we'll teach you the words, he's like, does the guitar player or a drummer need to know the words? No, I'm providing a wonderful accompaniment to our friend here. So good. Ned is such a good source of fun throughout this book.
Mm-hmm. Ben and Ned's banter is both a refreshing break and a funny bit of humor in a tense moment, because it's like, the crew could mutiny at any time. Okay, let's stop and make a joke about each other's singing. It's like Rag and Sarah all over again.
Yeah.
And Thoron does mention that Pierre and Anaconda are the two that are loyal to him, and that they'll keep an eye out for him. And we get the idea that nobody wants to mess with Anaconda.
Nope.
I don't blame them.
Yep. Unless they want to get punted over the foremast, I don't think they're going to mess with him. And we then get a good follow-up as they're once they've reached land, where they're on their way, and Ned is just like continuously wagging his tail and keeps smacking Ben. And Ben's like, keep your tail still. And he goes, sorry, but it's impossible. We dogs have naturally wagging tails.
Yes, that is definitely true. Dogs' tails can be super dangerous. I had a glass of a cup, like a mug of coffee next to my computer, which is a bad idea. And then my dog bounds over, starts wagging her tail, and the coffee, of course, spills onto my computer because that was just a bad placement on my part.
Ooh.
And Theron does mention, because they leave all the weapons behind, and saying that, like, we're going to get a few just in case there's a mutiny, which we do find out that Ludon, Grest, and some other guy, um, he's not important because I think he gets killed later off screen anyway. Oh, wait, spoiler alert for 2 chapters away. Um, they just run off. Like, they don't actually attempt to do anything bad. And so Anaconda, Pierre, Theron, Ben, and Ned kind of take turns keeping watch. And there's a point where Ben says to Ned, like, can you go get us some driftwood? And Ned's like, I'm going to captain my own ship one day, and then you're going to get me some driftwood. And I love where Ben's like, we'll call your ship the Black Dog. And he goes, no. She'll be called the Handsome Hound. That was so good. That is my favorite character.
I can tell.
You could see that, like, Jakes is having so much fun with him too. But then the chapter ends with creepy faceless monster.
Dun dun dun.
So then we're back to Madrid, who's been twiddling his thumbs for the last couple chapters, like, kind of lost track of the La Petite Marie, and I kind of look like an idiot right now. So he then gives his is Bowley, it's his first mate, right?
Bowie.
Bowie?
Yeah.
David
Yeah.
Bowie?
Yeah,
No.
that.
All right. Well, I don't know. The Dutchman is kind of a space oddity.
Oh dear.
You know what? Given your penchant for giving nicknames out to every character you don't care about, you might as well just call him Bowie to be done with.
Yeah, so I like Madrid messes with him here, where he's like, which island would you visit first? Hispaniola or Puerto Rico? And it's like the mate wanted to go to, is it Hispaniola, or am I pronouncing that correctly?
Hispaniola.
Hispaniola. All right, I can't. I suck. two semesters of Spanish in college, people. This is what I got. And he's like, well, I know whichever one I pick, he'll want to go to the other one. Let's go to Puerto Rico. And he's like, okay, great. And he's like, no, let's go to Hispaniola. And he's like, right away, sir. You know what? On the other hand, let's go to Puerto Rico. Oh.
Break it down
Madrid's
this
like,
way.
yeah, and Madrid's so pleased with himself, like, I got him.
Yes. I secretly want to go to Hispaniola. Yeah, let's go to Puerto Rico. You know, yeah, that actually sounds right. Let's go to Puerto Rico. Darn it. Foiled
Yeah.
again. Madrid is kind of a two-edged sword. Yeah, he's going to try and like cut down your enemies, but he'll also cut you down in the backswing. It's just like, don't trust this guy. He's a loose cannon.
Right.
So back to Ben, and we find out this is not another ghost. It's just a kind of old, weird mystic man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is definitely the trope of the person of color being the wise, all-knowing mystic person, which is not great. It didn't bother me as much as what happens in book 3, so.
I just say, like, he's, Padre Esteban, like, we get the feeling he's, like, a man of faith, and so, like, he has
Right.
that sort of connection to what Ben and Ned have been through. So I'm willing to accept that. And
Yeah, it is a trope, though.
Yeah, it is. No, we already have like immortal boy and dog, so I'm willing to accept other things like
Right.
that. Oh,
But Padre Esteban is definitely the sort of guy who myths and legends are made about, kind of like how Saint Nicholas became Santa Claus.
Yes.
Really cool guy.
yep. And he's nice too, where he's like, look, I have people, they'll come back and help you. I can see you've been through a lot. But we'll assist you. Let your captain know, let the crew know, and they ask nothing in return. Also,
Yeah, which is nice.
yeah. And so we then cut back to good old Captain Madrid, and he reaches. he finds some random dude where this guy was like, oh, well, that's a pirate. All right, I know the drill. Good day to you. Would you like some fish?
Yeah.
And he goes, would you like to buy some and help to feed my poor wife and 10 children? And I was just like, wife and 10 children. Yeah, I'm definitely sure she's tired after that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so Madrid then asks him, like, did you see a ship? And he's like, well, I can't read, but yeah, I think I saw it go that way. And Madrid's like, all right, good. But if you've lied to me, well, 10 children is a lot for a widow to support. It's like,
Oof.
yeah, like, all right. And
Yeah.
then I do like where he goes to Pepe. He's like, get my charge. I'll take charge of this operation. And Pepe's like, when does he never take charge? What? What?
Yeah,
All right.
pretty much.
And then backed with Captain Prissy Dingus, who is not happy with his new cook who boils fish, which is that like a normal way of prepping fish? Boiling it?
Well, if you don't know how to cook, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because like I know grilled fish, I know seared fish, and fried fish, all three of which I would really enjoy right now, because now I'm starting to get hungry.
And
Um,
baked fish.
and baked fish, yes. So, you know what? My comment about Captain Prissy is, you know, you can dress a clown like a captain, but all it does is make him a well-dressed clown.
Yep. My comment was, Red Shack is like a door off its mounting, unhinged.
Yep.
And we could see that his crew rightfully has absolutely no respect for him.
Hmm.
And they even said, like, how do you ever even get to be a captain? And apparently I think they mentioned that like he was kind of kicked at, like he ran off from England because of gambling debts, and that he's just like some disgraced loser.
Yeah, he's from a rich family, still thinks of himself as rich and important, but it's like, dude, you don't have any actual money. You don't have any clout. You have no power. You are nobody.
You are a loser.
And then my note was Devin Bell, more like the devil yells at me. Red Jack is terrible. He's no Scarum, but pretty bad.
Yeah, he's still not as bad. At least, you know what? At least this guy doesn't steal candy from children.
Well, there aren't a
Yes.
lot of children for him to steal candy from, so.
Yeah,
But
unless you're considering Ben as a quote unquote child, even though he's probably older than some of the people actually serving on these ships.
yeah, this is true. But still, like, he's at least not like eating food that was meant for children and then blaming everybody else for it. Sorry, I still hate Scarum more than Captain Prissy.
On a scale of 0 to 1, 0 being nothing like Scarum, 1 being exactly like a Scarum, I would rate Red Jack a 0.7 on the Scarum scale.
All right, then.
uh, um, but he's definitely not nearly as enjoyable as a lot of the different pirate captains we got in the Redwall series. Like, he's got nothing on Plug Firetail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or Clog.
Or Clog. Yep. Two captains whose crews actually liked them.
Yep.
And we then go back to Padre Esteban, who has lived up to his word, and he's helping out Captain Thuron's crew. And when Thuron tries to give him money, he's like, no, don't need money, though he does. And when Thuron's like, please let me repay you in some way, he says, we could use some, what was like nails and cloth, which is not easy to find, and immediately gives them plenty. And it shows that Thoron really appreciates it. And again, we get to see that he's a good man. And at the end, they leave and they say, like, be careful if Madrid or British Dingus show up. And, well, we find out what happens to other people that show up on that island in the wrong place.
I do not feel bad for them at all.
I don't either. We then
and there's a really interesting moment where the Padre, when he first meets Ben, is like, who taught you to talk to animals? And it's like, oh, it was a gift from an angel. And then here we see him seemingly intercepting a thought from Ned to Ben. And it's like, maybe the Padre's secretly an angel in disguise?
Maybe.
We'll
I
never
honestly
know.
don't remember if we find that out or not, so
I don't think we see him again for the rest of the book, so.
No, we don't.
And quick moment, I think Pete is now available to join us. He is, the jolly boat has reached it, and we are lifting him up onto the main deck. I think. Did that work? Add. Oh, maybe if I hit the add button, that would help. All right, Pete, thank you for joining us on the deck of the Le Petite Marie.
I gotta tell you guys, the next person who books me on this pleasure cruise on the Dutchman is getting the worst Yelp review in their lives.
So, man.
It sounds like your cruise on the jolly boat wasn't so jolly.
No, it was not.
1 skull crossbones out of 5.
Well, if it helps, when I tried to add you to the call, I didn't realize that I had to hit the add button. Probably would help.
Yeah. Have you guys recorded? Or recording?
We're in the middle of the show. We just told everyone you were out on the jolly boat, and now you have docked and have been added to the deck and are now ready to join us.
Yeah, I'm already calling my lawyer about this Vanderdecken guy. Worst cruise captain ever.
Oh, man.
You need a chargeback on that.
Sounds like your enjoyment didn't stand a ghost of a chance.
Oh, dear.
That's the new ding, by the way. Every time I told a bad joke on this episode, Katie just says, oh, dear.
So, what have you covered?
So we just finished chapter 6.
Oh, okay. I haven't missed everything. Did you at least do what I put in my notes about the priest giving Ben the item of importance?
We have not.
We have not. Would you like to take that then?
Yes. That is in chapter 6. Oh, chapter 6, where he gets the cross, right?
Yep.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Worth it.
I mean, that's convenient that this creepy priest can see through, can suddenly hear their telepathic conversations.
Well, we believe he either is or has been touched by an angel.
I get it.
We did forget one thing at the very end of the chapter, and that's Chekhov's gun has been loaded with a couple of deserters.
Yes.
Yes.
Is this a thing in this other series that, we have more mutinies than Redwall?
Well, we have covered that, like, this crew is definitely way different from Vanderdecken's, where there is no outright mutiny. It's more of, we just want to get the heck out of here. And there was no full-on attempt on Thoron's life. Which
I'm more referring to the other captains than.
We'll see what happens with these two idiots later.
Yeah.
Which, Pete, do you join us in our dislike for Captain Prissy?
Are we talking the privateer?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just like one of those Jack Sparrow fanboys that spends like $20 on a spirits costume for Halloween versus like an actual pirate.
If you want to be my pirate, you got to get with my crew.
Oh dear.
For the record, I did buy the Kindle version of this book like I did last year.
Mhm.
And just like that version, I don't have any chapter art. All I have is that glyph.
There is no chapter art.
Oh.
At least
Well,
in
never mind then.
Yep. There's like a little bit of things here and there throughout it, but yeah, in my I have the paperback version open right now, and yeah, there's no chapter art in it, which I just realized that was a thing. I didn't
Yep.
even think about that.
Well, I'm sending you
for
guys
me,
a copy of what's in the Kindle version. Literally, that's the same glyph that was in the first Castaways book, and that's in this book.
Oh.
In every chapter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this one it's just a big number, like it just says 7, and then an immediate. Oh yeah. Oh, duh, there it is, right there at the beginning of each chapter. All right, okie silly dilly dokio. I'm an idiot.
I'll confirm. Same thing in my paperback edition. Although I'm assuming Jeremy and I have the same paperback.
Most
I thought, okay,
likely.
that was worded very badly because Jeremy said I'm an idiot, and then the next thing Messiah says is I can confirm.
Oh no, that was unintentional.
That's why I
get no
cracked up.
respect.
I don't want to cast any dispersions on Jeremy's intelligence. He can do that himself.
Alrighty then. So moving on to
along.
chapter 7 with a character that's way dumber than I am, Captain Prissy.
Oh,
And yes,
apparently he only likes one song to play that is entirely ironic.
What?
He likes to have his crew play one song that is entirely ironic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, okay, I have to ask, is this a real thing? Can the British Navy actually require people to sing and dance as an exercise?
I think that was a thing back in the day. I don't know if it's still a thing now. I am not an expert on the British Navy, but this seems too unbelievable to be something that isn't actually a thing that happened.
Should I ask my robot smart speaker?
Go for it.
Hey Google, does the British Navy require people to sing and dance?
If you just get results for this book, I'm going to laugh.
She has no information on that.
All right, so I'm going to go with my next theory in my notes, which was, this is just an excuse for Jakes to add another song, isn't it?
It's a jolly captain.
Yeah. Do you think there's a variation on this song called The Jolly President?
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
So,
Red Shock's basically like, we're the Royal Navy. I'm going to make you do this. The crew says, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you say singing and dancing? I'll see to it at once.
No.
We're independent contractors. We're not official Royal Navy.
What's this, WWE? Gosh, so that scene happened and served, I don't think, any purpose.
Other than to point out that our captain is, like he said, he likes really ironic music.
Yep.
Indeed.
Let's sing a song about a captain who's jolly and doesn't mistreat his crew. Oh, that would be so nice.
I don't think he understands what the word ironic means. So then we've got Madrid, who ends up on an island and he runs into a very cheeky old guy. And at first, we don't understand why this old fellow who's surrounded by just like helpless villagers is being such a smart aleck to him. And so Madrid like asks him, like, have you seen a ship? And he goes, and he says no. And he's like, well, if you lie, I will kill you. And he's like, why would I have a reason to lie? There was nobody around here. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And
I can still kill you anytime I want. Death comes to us all in the fullness of time.
Right.
It's like Eeyore.
Oh, guess you can kill me. That's totally fine. So then I like the fact where it's like Madrid knows that he's telling the truth, but he's like he still has the same face. He's like, "Give me some of your food, then." Meh. And he's like, "Okay, have some food. It'll be your last meal."
Wait, what?
That
Madrid?
you have here. He's like, "All right." And so then Madrid's crew does find Ludon and his two buddies whose names don't matter because they're dead.
Yay!
Madrid, I believe the locker room you spawned from is in the opposite direction. Maybe try searching for your self-worth there instead of bullying village chiefs to find it.
Yep. So, well, then Madrid kind of gets what's coming to him because he talks to Ludon like, "All right, you're going to tell me everything I want to know." "Yes, sir." And the village chief is like, "All right, I stands enough. I can't stands no more." And says to him like, "Look, you're not going to do that here. You got to leave." And Madrid's like, "Yeah, you and what army?" "This one." Just
Boom.
surrounded by guys with poison darts and blowpipes. And Madrid's like, "Okay, we'll be going now. Nice place you have here. Take care, everybody. We will totally never come back here again. Bye." And Madrid, to try to save some face, blasts the village with cannons. But we then find out that the patriarch and everybody else got the heck out of Dodge when they saw that they were leaving. And that guy keeps a straight face this whole time. But where there's a woman who was like, they killed one of my goats, and he's like, "You can have my goat. Yours will do for tonight's meal."
And hey, we get to file for the insurance money and still rebuild. Everybody wins.
Yeah, I like the cut of this old chief's jib. It's just he knows what the score is. He's like, you know what? We built our huts out of easily sourced materials from the jungle. We can rebuild. We got everyone out. Nobody died except this goat. She can have my goat. We'll eat the goat tonight that died. Everyone's happy.
Yep.
Yes, and I would just like to point out, as the woman on the podcast, that the woman whose goat was killed is the first-ish woman in this entire book so far.
No.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even notice that.
And I am aware that in other parts of the book this changes, so I'm not really that mad about it. I'm just like, this is a bunch of dudes on ships right now.
Just be at sea with lots of men.
Yeah.
Only men. Well, to be fair, in this time period, that was kind of the norm.
It was, yeah, which is why I'm not, especially with what comes up in the following parts of this book, the vague things that I do remember.
Mm-hmm.
There is a pretty cool female character coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
I can't remember her name, but I remember that.
I could spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. That's not for possibly even episode 3.
Yep. So we're back aboard the La Petite Marie, and Ben spots the SS stick up its butt. And they also hear Madrid's cannons, so that's not good. And he spots them, and so the La Petite Marie has to get the heck out of Dodge again. And that seems to be the running thing in this one so far, which is, we made it. Oh shoot, they found us again. All right, we made it. Oh shoot, the other one found us. Okay, let's keep going.
Yep.
But we go back aboard the SS stick up its butt, and they're doomed. Prissy Dingus just got in the driver's seat.
Yep.
He's like Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack when he takes control of his own yacht, isn't he?
I haven't seen Caddyshack.
Wow, that reference fell flat.
So yeah, but he's like, I can do it. I can find them. They're like, "Sir, that's a plate. That's not the wheel." I knew that. I was testing you.
I'm not gonna lie, but Captain Prissy actually seems like a worse captain than Vanderdecken.
Oh yeah. Because it's not that he's competent but angry. He's incompetent and angry.
Yep.
And
This is
mind
true.
you, Vanderdecken shot his first officer for
a
mouthing
door.
off.
This is true. This guy is just an idiot. It's just at this point, I just wrote Prissy Dingus is a moron, which I get that's redundant, but I don't care. And yeah, so he starts tacking into the wind, which is a legitimate thing. Which kudos to him, he knows how to do it. But they do tell him like, whoa. If you do that, our mast will snap off again. Where he's like, well, tie this rope here and this rope here and do this and do that, and I'll turn into a giant Jenga tower. And the first and the carpenter's like, what? Where did you come up with that? And shockingly, I think it does work. Right?
Briefly, and then it kills somebody when it fails.
It kills the carpenter.
Poor carpenter. I feel so bad for all the men on the ship.
I'm waiting for this crew to mutiny. I am shocked they haven't done it yet.
I don't remember if that happens or not.
I'm not saying.
I can't remember. It definitely doesn't happen during this section, up through chapter 10, but I am legitimately surprised that this crew has not been like, all right, let's throw this idiot overboard, wrapped up in his own stupid jacket, and let's just go have fun somewhere else. And yeah, so they see the La Petite Marie and start chasing after them, and back aboard the Diablo del Mar, which I don't think we mentioned the name of the ship, which that's Madrid's ship, which is the Devil of the Sea.
Yes.
I know because I live right now. I live in Del Mar, is the city around over here, so I know words in Spanish.
No hable inglés, señor.
And so he also spots the Petite Marie, which apparently this ship is easily found by everybody who's looking for it. And Madrid is surprised that Thoron doesn't notice that he's there, and he's like, well, maybe he's dealing with something else. Whatever. I'm sure that won't be important for us.
Yes.
And Ben and Ned are like, look, so what do we do now, boss? And Thoron comes up with a good idea with how to, he's like, we can just simply outrun the English ship because look at that mast. That thing's gonna fall.
And then a little bit of a problem shows up, and it's, oh, we're driving right towards Madrid. What are we going to do? Which leads to my favorite moment in this part of the book, the Trinidad Shuffle.
Yes.
The Trinidad Shuffle is awesome. And it basically involves, okay, it's dark out, or, almost dark. We sail directly towards one of the ships while the other is chasing us. And at the last minute, we turn sideways, head straight out into the sea, and let the other two guys fight over who gets to pursue us.
So this is what Han Solo does in Empire Strikes Back when he sandwiches two Star Destroyers together.
Yep. Huh. Evasive maneuvers. Bam! Got a 2-Star Destroyer pile up on the 5.
But yeah, and basically they not only do they pull it off, the Marie gets completely away. Ha ha! Bye guys.
Can't catch me.
Oh, and Percy Face loses a man overboard, and he doesn't care.
Yeah, nope. The poor carpenter. The oar that they used to strap this crazy set of ropes to the mast starts spinning, hits him in the head, sends him flying across the deck, bouncing over the edge of the deck and into the ocean.
Poor guy. I felt so bad for him.
I expect comedy sound effects to be added in.
Well, maybe if the Red Bull cartoon had... See, if the Red Bull cartoon had run out of Red Bull books, they could have done these.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just feel so bad for him because he knew it was a terrible idea, but he had to do it anyway, and he got killed because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like we keep seeing that all of Prissy's crew are like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, but we still have to follow him. And it's like, you do? What says that you do? Why don't you just kill him and say like, yeah, he slipped and fell off the side of the ship. Oh well.
I guess
That's
that
what
worked for
mutineers
Mokon.
say. But he was the imposter the whole time.
Underneath his mask, it was really Old Man Rivers.
I don't know. Red Jack Teal's looking pretty sus there.
Yeah. I get that because I started to play Among Us.
And so, Madrid loses out on catching the Le Petite Marie and then sees the privateer ship and goes, oh, God. Well, maybe he doesn't want to fight. Cannons fire. I was proven wrong.
Not only does he want to fight, Madrid's able to determine that Percy is loading his cannons with grape shot. And as I was reading this, I was like, huh, that game I bought for the original Xbox back in the early aughts is suddenly appropriate. Yeah, Sid Meier's Pirates.
Yep.
Because it basically was this thing. For the record, and just like in that game, they're using the three type of normal cannon shots you'd find. You have the standard cannonballs, which are designed to wreck the heck out of a ship. You have the chain shot, which is designed to take down a mast. And then you have this, the grape shot, which is effectively a cannon shotgun.
Yep.
It is literally designed to kill people on board while leaving the ship mostly undamaged.
Mostly.
Yep.
So what you're saying is Madrid is definitely in some deep water?
We'll go with that.
Let me play a song for Madrid on my tiny violin. Do you think he likes the Jolly Captain?
I do like Madrid is also like, okay, I'm totally in it now, but I have a plan, I think.
Yes.
So hear me out, guys. We're gonna surrender. Wait, what?
No, it'll totally work. We'll all be safe.
That's a privateer. I mean, he's only one step above a pirate.
Yeah.
He's not part of the. He doesn't follow the Brotherhood. He doesn't hold to the code.
He's just a schmuck.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Madrid has a legitimate grievance against what's his face?
Thuron.
Thuron. Yes,
Sort of.
Thuron has taken what Madrid rightfully stole.
Correct. However, privateers don't abide by the any kind of buccaneer understanding. So yeah, this could go bad.
Yeah, Captain Prissy is basically under the "this is mine now."
Yep.
I mean, notice we say that a lot on this podcast.
Yeah. It happens a lot in these books. Yeah. We then get good stuff on the Le Petite Marie where Ben and Ned are chatting and Ben passes one of Ned's comments to Thuron and he's like, do you really talk to Ned? He's like, of course. Don't you believe me? He's like, well, you both have really honest faces. And we get another great one-liner from Ned where he's like, look, truth and honesty are stamped all over my noble features.
Yes.
Ned is awesome.
I love Ned. And we then hear about flying fish, and Ned doesn't believe it, but nope, there's some flying fish.
And apparently they are tasty.
Yep.
Flying fish, but all I have is a copper short sword. Terraria? Anybody?
No, I caught it.
Okay.
I haven't played it in a while.
And there's a song about flying fish and how delicious they are.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's actually a really good song in the book. The actor who does Anaconda does a great job.
He does. Simon Smithies. Awesome. Awesome guy.
Yep. So they're doing great. Meanwhile, this is where Madrid is like, okay, I know what to do, and I will team up. And I like one of the comments about one of the crew makes of Madrid and says he's craftier than a sack of monkeys.
I'm not sure a sack of monkeys would be crafty per se.
Just like, all right. Well, and so Madrid decides to form a deadly alliance, trademark, with Captain Prissy. And it's like, look, we could kill each other. We could shoot at each other. You could just destroy my ship and kill me with one well-placed shot because that's a lot of cannons. Or hear me out. We can go after the French guy together and kill him and take all the gold. And then I'll kill you later. What was that last part? Nothing.
Wait, what gold? Oh yeah, the French guy has totally gold, right? For this crew member who I rescued from his ship. Help me!
It's like, why does he have a rope around his neck? He enjoys it. So, yep, that's so we now have a supposed team up between Captain Prissy and Captain Madrid. I'm sure those two will work perfectly well together.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
it's gonna happen.
Forget never trust a vixen, never trust a captain, except Theron, of course, because he's cool. But never trust a captain.
But back on the Le Petite Marie, we get a nice little nightmare fuel moment of Theron saying, like, there's unknown depths of, like, beneath us in the ocean filled with all sorts of monsters. And I'm like, great, thanks, buddy.
Yep, cue my thalassophobia, the fear of ocean/deep waters. It's just like, and then the next chapter proceeds to be just miserable.
Yeah.
This is like in the Finding Nemo Honest trailer where it's like, oh god, the ocean is terrifying.
Yep.
Yes.
And so they then find out that the wheel isn't working. We found it looks like they've got a rudder problem. Get it? Instead of another, it's a rudder.
That's a bit of a stretch.
I'm just going to ding myself right now. This was the joke in my notes where I just wrote ding.
Did you see where I left a note on your notes?
That's terrible even by Matthias's standards.
I also saw where you left a note on one of my notes.
Huh?
Matthias commented on one of my notes from much earlier.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he commented a couple times. He said that my rudder comment is terrible.
I'm known for bad puns. That is probably the worst pun we've done on this show, period.
I don't know.
Saying I've scraped the bottom of the rudder.
Moving on.
Thank you, Katie.
There's some foreshadowing. It's like nobody wants to go into the ocean because they were just talking about all the monsters in the ocean, and now people are going to go into the ocean. I'm sure it'll be just fine.
Oh yeah, everybody will turn out just fine.
And Ned's just like, hey, can you not go, buddy?
No.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
Oh, it's okay. I'm immortal. What could possibly go wrong?
I'm immortal.
I'm also the main character.
Yeah, I've got plot armor. What are you worrying about?
Yeah. Ben's like, I'm sure it'll all work out. I am the main character after all. And Ned's like, it's like, excuse me.
Effectively, what we're told is that the rudder, while intact, has basically slipped its chain. It just needs to be reattached.
Yep. And so we get nice details on it too. This like is even more of Jake's like giving us some nautical descriptions and details about the ship and everything, and I like that.
Yes, and he's describing how easy it'll be, and I'm just like, this is gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
And for what it's worth, they do note that most of the sailors don't know how to swim. And I saw a reasonable explanation as to why so many sailors back in the day never learned to swim. Because if the boat sank, the sailor would have a quicker death than treading water until they drowned from exhaustion.
Ah.
Darkest fact.
That's morbid.
Darkest fact.
I'm sure
All
you
right,
were
so-
just dying to know that.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
And I told you whether you wanted to know or not.
No, none of that. Shame on you.
Come on, don't you
Water
see
way
what I
to
did
go.
Moving on. Yes, there's a betrayal.
So yeah, we're back with Captain Prissy Dingus, and he says to Madrid, "Okay, there's a really loud bird right outside my window. I don't know if you guys can hear that."
Yep. I thought that was Katie's clock for a moment.
Nope.
That's a really
Apparently,
loud
Madrid
bird.
has a not parrot that is very loud.
Oh my god, yeah, it's no, I don't know where the heck it is, but I think it stopped. Good lord.
Anyway, we see Red Jack backstab Madrid for 2x damage.
Yeah, he's like, "Here, why don't you go to the shore and get your crew? Take this boat by yourself. Don't worry, we'll wait right here for you. Got it!"
Yep.
Well, it's not even gun it. He basically has his own people shoot their muskets into the boat without hitting Madrid. Have fun rowing back to shore.
Yeah. Good luck storming the castle. And so Madrid's just like, "Okay, I have another plan." And Boali is like, "Yeah, I got a plan too. It involves punching you in the face."
Yeah.
Yep. And
but I'm the captain. Oh, where's your boat?
yeah,
I'm in the market.
"Where's your ship? Where's your sword? Oh wait, that idiot took them from you. Congratulations."
Yeah, you are out. You were fooled by an idiot. Congratulations.
Oh, and hey guys, we're on Puerto Rico. This is a big island. We'll just walk into another port, right? Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, and they're
Hey,
like,
Captain, you coming? Captain.
well, it was more like, "All right, we're gonna go there." And it's like, "What about the captain?" "Well, I have a knife, and he has a throat. Let's put those two together and see what happens."
I mean, what do we have to worry about? Well, apparently, if Madrid makes it back to the other Buccaneer captains, he'll just be like, "Oh, they mutinied me. I didn't lose my ship.
They picked on me." He's gonna cry to the teacher.
Pretty much.
They took away my ship.
He hit me in the face.
No, Captain, no, nothing personal. Okay, I'll be honest. This is completely personal. You guys.
Yeah, but when Boali goes to actually take him out, where he sneaks up on him and everything, he touches him. He's like, "All right, huh? You seem to have 4 darts in your neck."
Yeah.
You know?
Moral of the story, kids: if you totally demolish a village, the residents of said village may not like that.
They took exception to that. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess if 3 darts is too much, then 4 darts is even worse.
Oh, hi, ancient patriarch, whose village we destroyed earlier.
Kill them.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Well,
old
I hope
chief
they
is
got
my
the
new
point.
favorite side character. Dude is super chill, but does not put up with anything.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
So then finally we get to chapter 10, which the opening lines of this do such a good job of describing Ben's experience underwater.
And filling me with absolute dread and terror.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Subnautica anytime soon.
Well, we can always play We Need to Go Deeper.
No.
I guess I will not be playing, getting any stars in Dire Docks in Mario in the next day. All right.
By the way, We Need to Go Deeper is this indie little game that I totally recommend, but it's a co-op steampunk submarine game.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I know what the game is. It's a great game. If you have friends to play it with, I would need friends to play it with.
Oh.
You can play games with more than one person?
I'm shutting up now to avoid offending anybody else.
So yeah, but you can also tell Jake's enjoyed writing out how they fix the rudder because he goes into pretty good detail about it. And it shows like he knows what he's talking about with this stuff. It's like the descriptions throughout this whole section, like I've said this before, but it's also like one of my favorite moments also so far was when one of the ships gets hit by the cannon fire and he describes like how it just tears through the ship with pieces of it flying everywhere. He was having a fun time.
Yep.
We then we get a really intense and just all of a sudden, oh my god, what just happened sequence where Ben and Anaconda are about to finish fixing the rudder. Anaconda accidentally cuts his hand and starts bleeding, which that'll be fine. And then
Oh hi, that's a dolphin there, right? Oh.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna need a bigger boat. So yeah, the rudder starts going out of control because they fixed it and nobody's holding the wheel like they probably should have. And the rudder hits Ben. Anaconda saves him. Like Anaconda helps him, like so he tries to help him. A massive shark then swims in, and that's the last we see of Anaconda while Thuron bravely gets Ben to safety.
R.I.P. Anaconda.
Oh,
Yep.
he was so cool.
He was a
Although-
cool guy.
He was. It's funny though, because like they're saying, "Oh, he's gone. We'll never see him again." I'm like, Jakes does this thing where he wants us to believe characters are dead when they actually aren't. But then I'm like, I don't see how he couldn't be. But I really don't remember what the outcome is of this.
If he pops up later and we find out that he beat up the shark, I will be happy. But I don't think that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay. Thuron, though he rescued Ben, he gets them out of there. And Pierre also has a good moment where he doesn't realize that Anaconda's gone. And when all the crew are shooting at the shark, he's like, hold on, Anaconda's still down there. Like, I like that touch of like, wait, let's try and save our crewmate before we try to take out the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, also, I have a feeling the rest of the crew was just more like, oh my god, it's a shark!
Yeah.
So Ben is unconscious, but starts seeing the Dutchman and Vanderdecken, and Ned starts flipping out. And apparently Thuron can see him too, because he freaks out and throws a chair at him, and that's it. We leave off with Ghost Demon Pirate showing up, and yeah, that's the end of this section. And I would like to say we did not plan for that to be our cutoff for this. We just decided to do the first 10 chapters, not realizing that that's what chapter 10 ends with.
Yep.
There are 30 chapters. We'll just do the first 10. That's a nice 1/3.
Yeah, that's, you know what, that's one heck of a way to end our section for today.
Indeed.
I want to leave us with Vanderdecken, no Vanderdecking. Vanderdecken, no Vanderdecking. Vanderdecken, no Vanderdecking. Oh man, I couldn't resist.
No, I understand that.
Thuron the Explorer. So yep, that's it for the first 10 chapters. I really enjoyed this so far. This has been a really good book so far.
Yeah, you can see why this is like one of my favorite books that Brian's ever written. It is just, it's tight writing.
It is really good. My dog just yawned into the microphone. So if you heard anything, that was what it was.
I'm sorry, we're boring her.
There is a dog in this book, Fawn. Thought you'd be more
Yes.
excited.
Yeah, and the dog is
Dog
one
who
of
is awesome, and I also want to point out he's like, when they rescue his best buddy, he's like, oh my god, is he okay? Is he okay? Does he need some juice? He's like overprotective parent.
Yep. So that's it for now. So the next time when we come back to this book next time, we are going to cover the next 10 chapters. But until then, you can find us online at recorderonthewall.com. We are on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. We are featured on the official Redwall forums. We are featured on the R Eulelia subreddit. We are probably featured in other places that I don't know of. We have a Twitter account at ROTWpod. We have an email address if you would like to contact us through that, rotwpod@gmail.com. And, feel free to leave a review on iTunes if you would like. Let us know if there's, when we eventually get, we have plenty of ideas even when we finish the series, of course, but if you have ideas, let us know. If you want us to do another cool trivia show, maybe you guys could send us some questions so we don't have to deal with Pete's satanic stuff. So until next time, mateys, I'm Captain Jeremy.
I'm First Mate Matthias.
What order are we going? I'm Katie. I don't know what's going on. Yar!
I guess that makes me the Admiral back at base.
Alright, give me the cabin boy.
Cabin boy, listen here, you.